Okay, so yes, I'm in Eugene again, but today we are talking about the Jamaican trials as these went off. This set off a firestorm of like reactions all across the internet, and Jamaica showed up. Jamaica showed up. That's like what I got to say first. Kishane Thompson got the win in the 100-meter dash at Jamaican trials, 9.77 seconds. If I'm correct, that makes him number 9 all time in the 100-meter dash in history. I mean, through the rounds, he was making extreme progress. He ran, 9.82 in the heats. Then he ran 9.84 in the semifinals. And then he dropped a bomb with 9.77 in those finals to get the Jamaican title. And if y'all remember, of course, last year at the Jamaican Championships, he ran in the heats and he ran 9.91 seconds and then just shut it down, right? Stephen Francis said, I'm trying to save him, looking long term. Listen, he proved a lot of people wrong. He proved myself wrong. Honestly, right, we only seen him run once this year. And that one race, he literally pulled up, right? He pulled up, he had like a cramp or something in his leg. So obviously I was going to be skeptical, but listen, he showed up, he showed out, he did his thing here in Jamaica, and man, he's going to be a problem. Like I said, when I was talking about my, Jamaican trials preview, he is, in my opinion, the most talented Jamaican sprinter that they have right now, right, on the men's side. Yes, Oblique Seville, he, of course, has finished 4th place at the World Championships, on 2 occasions, 2022 and 2023. But I do feel like Kishane Thompson has that talent. So for him to be able to get this 9.77, this is an amazing performance. And the big thing here is that consistency, him being able to really go through those rounds, because we had never seen him go through rounds, right? We never seen him go through, whether it's semifinals, into finals, or anything like that. So for him to do it here, big performance that's really going to have some huge implications as we look forward to the Paris Olympics. Now, just behind him was Oblique Seville. Oblique Seville running 9.82 seconds to equal his personal best that he ran all the way back at the Racers Grand Prix, taking down Noah Lyles in that race. That was a major performance for him, and maybe a little bit of a shock, right? Because, again, he was the top Jamaican. He's been the top Jamaican for the past couple years. So to see him get 2nd place, man, that was a big thing. But to see him really getting consistent in that realm, right? He not only ran that 9.82, but he had also kind of gone through the rounds. He ran 9.98 seconds, I think, in the heats. He ran 9.83 seconds in the semifinals. So he'd been showing some true consistency in that 9.8 range. I think if you remember, his personal best entering this season was 9.86 seconds, I think, he ran it in Budapest. He also ran it at the Jamaican Championships, I think last year or the year before. So Oblique Seville, again, similar to Kishane Thompson, he's displaying that consistency that you would like to see from an athlete who hasn't yet gotten on the podium, but has that ability to. I actually thought that Oblique Seville was going to be able to run 9.7 here, considering he has a lot more experience than Kishane Thompson, considering, he's been trending in the right direction. He seems like he's really focused, but I think that's still going to be coming. So really like where Oblique Seville is at. And then Akeem Blake, he came up for 3rd place. Clutch performance for him, 9.92 seconds to actually get a really strong time, one of his fastest times in a couple years, and book his ticket to the Olympic Games. This is his first team, I think, since 2022, right? He missed the team last year to Budapest, so this is a huge performance and a very strong team that Jamaica is sending to the Olympic Games. Kishane Thompson, 9.77, Oblique Seville, 9.82, Akeem Blake, 9.92. Let's see if they can actually put everything together. And I think 4th place in this race was Brian Lavelle. Someone in the comments can go and let me know what y'all think of Brian Lavelle. He might be a new kid, but he ran 10.04 seconds. In the semifinals, he did run 9.98 seconds. So they got a really strong team, but the big thing here is that podium, right? Jamaica, since Usain Bolt has retired, they have not gotten on the podium. 2019, 2021, 2022, 2023, they haven't gotten on the podium. And similar, listen, I'm going to be honest, a lot of Jamaicans love to say medals are not given out in April. Medals are not given out in May. Medals are not given out in June. We're in June right now. Medals, of course, are not given out, despite what we saw from the United States running 9.82 from Lyles, 9.87 and 9.88 from Kenny B and Fred Curley. Obviously, those are not medal performances. They are not getting Olympic medals around their neck. The same thing holds true for the Jamaican athletes. Now, everyone is set. We do have the 100-meter teams for the men going to the Paris Olympics. It's going to be a bloodbath. And that's not even talking about guys like, you know, we have Akani Simbine, we have Marcel Jacobs, we have a lot of other guys who are definitely in that mix, but this is going to be big. And check out the previous video that I did when I was down in Kingston, Jamaica, and I gave a preview of all the top Jamaican sprinters, right? I spoke about Oblique Seville. I spoke about Akeem Blake. I spoke about Kishane Thompson, Raheem Ford, right? Ron Watson. I spoke about all these guys, and I really would love to see them get on the podium. But it is not going to be easy. The United States is definitely in there, right? Marcel Jacobs is in there. All these guys, Akani Simbine, it's going to be very competitive. So we're going to see. But let's move over. Let's talk about the women in the Jamaican trials. This was obviously not as hot in a sense, but I think what the women did here is they really proved that they show up when it counts, right? They are going to be prepared to, you know, really run some fast times when, you know, a title is on the line, when an Olympic team is on the line, when all of that is on the line. So off the bat, Shericka Jackson, I think for the most part, like I'd been saying, even though there were some quote-unquote questions, I did think that Shericka Jackson was going to be safely on the team, and she did exactly that here. She managed to run 10.84 seconds in the final to get the Jamaican title. Someone could cross-check me. Was this her first Jamaican title? Or, oh no, I'm sorry. Her first Jamaican title for Olympic trials. Last year, of course, she ran 10.65 seconds. But amazing performance for Shericka Jackson. Yes, it's not the 10.6 that we saw last year, so someone in the comments, we saw what Stephen Francis said. He said that she's in the form that she was in last year. I mean, she's clearly not. But regardless, I think that Shericka Jackson definitely has a good trajectory, a good road towards Paris to make sure that she's going to be ready. Now, it's going to be tough to say that, you know, she's going to get the gold medal, considering what everyone else has done, specifically what, you know, Julian Alfred is at, considering what, you know, Sha'Carri Richardson is at. And this is a different conversation, right? We're not talking about Shelly-Ann in her prime or Elaine Thompson in her prime, where Shericka Jackson has not won a gold medal in the 100-meter dash yet, right? 200, that's a different story. But 100, that she hasn't won a gold medal there yet. So we're going to see how this translates, but I think this is good. This is really good for Shericka. I'm actually really happy to see her in the 10.8 shape right now. Now behind her, I don't know if it's a surprise, but this was a big performance for Tia Clayton, one of the Clayton twins, 10.90 seconds to finish second place and book her ticket to the Olympic Games. I mean, what, she's only 20 years old. She's still extremely young. So she is, I don't know what, I'm not sure what her potential of getting on the podium is, right? If we're talking about Shericka Jackson, if we're talking about, you know, Julian Alfred, if we're talking about, you know, Sha'Carri Richardson. And if we look historically, we've seen some other Jamaican women actually make the team, whether it's, you know, Sasha Lee Forbes or whether it's Christiana Williams. Someone cross-checked me on that. I think 2016, you know, Christiana Williams made the Olympic final in Rio, but we haven't actually seen them get on the podium outside of Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price, Elaine Thompson-Herah, Shericka Jackson, right? And then you have to go all the way back to, you know, Karan Stewart, Veronica Campbell-Brown, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't know what this means for Tia Clayton. I will say in the semifinals, she did actually pull a little bit of an upset. She ran 10.86 seconds to just finish ahead of Shericka Jackson's 10.87. Both of them looked, you know, very comfortable from the races I saw. But man, huge performance for Tia Clayton. And then third place, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price. She showed up and she showed out. Still just 37 years old. And yes, just 37 years old. She's still young in the grand scheme of things. Yes, in the track and field world, right? She's more experienced. She's a little bit older. But she proved that she performs when it counts, when it matters the most. I was very skeptical for the most part, right? That 11.1 that she opened up with wasn't a good indicator of, you know, what she would likely have to do. I actually thought that it would take, you know, you would take sub 11 to get on this team, which it did. But I thought that someone like Crystal Soley, I thought she was going to be able to, you know, set things up. Maybe Sasha Lee Forbes, but Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price, she took advantage of the opportunity, 10.94 seconds to get third place and book her ticket onto the team. And she actually displayed consistency all throughout the rounds, right? Through the heats, she managed to run 10.98 seconds, right? Getting under 11 seconds for the first time this year. In the semifinals, she ran 10.91 seconds. And then in the final, 10.94. So it clearly means that she has some work to do to get back into that 10.7 form that it's likely going to take to get on the podium. But Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price, she's going to her final Olympic Games, which is going to be legendary. Shelly-Ann is one of my favorite athletes ever. You know, when I was first getting into the sport in 2008, I got a chance to, you know, see her, at least in Beijing, watching her run on TV. And man, she's grown so much. I'd be elated to see her get on the podium. It's going to be extremely tough. I think Shericka Jackson is going to be in 10.7 form, right? Sha'Carri Richardson is already in 10.7 form. Julian Alfred is already in 10.7 form. But Shelly-Ann, she's going to be lurking there. So wrapping up, again, I just wanted to talk about the Jamaican trials, right? We have, USA's, of course, Olympic trials is going down. There were some 200s. Check out CITIUS Mag. They had a live show where, breaking down all the semifinals from the 200 for the men, the 200 for the women, as well as the 110 hurdles, for the men, and some of the heats of the 100-meter hurdles for the women, as well as the 400 hurdles as well. But Jamaica is showing up. And let me end off with just talking about who are the favorites as we look forward to the Olympic Games in the 100-meter dash. Since we have, at least the main teams, right? Jamaica, we have the United States, Great Britain. Of course, we're going to see Dean Smith, Daryl Nita there, as well as Zarnell Hughes on the men's side. And then other countries, right? We're going to see Marcel Jacobs there. We're going to see all these other people there. On the men's side, when we're talking about favorites, I don't know if y'all going to criticize me, but Noah Lyles is still the 100-meter favorite for the gold medal. Now, am I saying he's the overwhelming favorite? No, I'm not saying all that. All I'm saying is that he is the favorite. It's slightly, right? It's a slight edge favorite, but he is still the favorite. Why? Because he's displayed consistency over the past year. Coming off his gold medal at the World Championships last year, he was able to, come into 2023, match his personal best, at the USA Olympic trials. So that means he's significantly ahead of pace relative to where he was last year. Today we just saw him run, 19.60 in the 200. So Noah Lyles is still the slight favorite considering his consistency. Now, you do have some other guys. I do like Oblique Seville. I like Oblique Seville right now. I think Oblique Seville is in a very good position to get on the podium. I still think he has the potential and has the ability to run sub 9.8 seconds, right? He should be running 9.7s. And I think that he is in a different level of focus this year, and he really is gunning. He doesn't want to finish fourth place like he did in 2022 and 2023. He wants to make sure that he gets on that podium. I think he's right now in the position to do so. Then you have someone like Marcel Jacobs. I think Marcel Jacobs, also considering he ran 9.92 seconds, which is his third fastest performance, only times that he's ever run faster were at the Olympic Games when he ran in the semifinals and then, of course, the gold medal in the final. He's in a good position as well. Kishane Thompson. The reason I can't pick right now, I can't pick Kishane Thompson on my podium looking forward towards Paris is because he doesn't have that level of consistency throughout an entire season relative to some of the other guys, right? Yes, he's showing up at Jamaican trials here. Yes, he ran 9.8s all throughout the rounds and capped it off with a 9.77. But we have to see him do it outside of just the Jamaican championships and do it in a championship setting. Oblique Seville has done that. Despite Oblique Seville getting fourth place at the past two World Championships, he's proven that he can compete with the best. Even last year, when he finished fourth place, he ran the same time as, Lesiewicz as well as Zarnell Hughes. So it's not like he's some sort of fluke. Kishane Thompson is not necessarily a fluke in any capacity, but we just need to see him do it. So I can't just give him a medal. Just like, I don't want to make the exact comparison, but just like, Ferdinand Omanyala, he's run 9.7, right? He's run 9.7, of course, in Kenya, but he's also run 9.8 at Prefontaine, right, in Eugene. Kishane Thompson has done the same. He's run 9.7 in Jamaica. He's also run 9.8 in Prefontaine and I think at the Chinese Diamond League last year as well. So, but you need to execute it when it matters most. You need to execute it at the Olympic Games. So we'll see if Kishane Thompson is able to do so. And then, of course, some other guys, right? Akeem Blake, maybe, we'll see how he, does. Again, this is his second, World Championship team. He hasn't been able to make a final. We'll see how he progresses. Hopefully he's able to get into those 9.8s. But then Akani Simbine. I do like Akani Simbine. He's very, very consistent this year. Lesiewicz, he was at African Championships, I think, only ran the heat. So, I don't know. We're in a little bit of a mixed bag when talking about the 100-meter dash. I think the overall sentiment is that it's a very wide open field. But in my opinion, Noah Lyles is still the slight favorite. Let's be clear. Slight favorite. But aside from that, on the women's side, I think for the most part, and I think y'all should agree, Sha'Carri Richardson is still the favorite for the gold medal. She's run 9.7. She's been consistent, right? She's been very consistent. It's hard to pick against Sha'Carri Richardson at this point, considering, or in the conversation of who's the gold medalist looking forward towards Paris. Then I probably would put Shericka Jackson in that silver medal position. I think that because she's run 10.84, here in Jamaica, I think this shows that she's on a very, very strong trajectory to get to the Olympic Games and really show up. I think she's going to be able to get to that 10.7 range. I think she'll be able to get into that 10.6 range, but then it all depends on what Sha'Carri is able to do. Sha'Carri has already run 10.71. She's, of course, going to be in 10.6 form, considering what she's done already. That's going to be a factor. The other factor, Julian Alfred. Julian Alfred is in this mix. So if I was to pick a podium based on what we know right now, I'm going to say Sha'Carri Richardson, Shericka Jackson, Julian Alfred. that would be my top 3 when looking at the Paris Olympic Games. But you do have some others, right? Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, very much in that conversation. She's going to time things perfectly to be ready for an Olympics. Melissa Jefferson, I really do like the trajectory that she's on. Dean Asher-Smith, she's getting into form. So very, very open landscape on both the men's and the women's side. Oh, as always, let me know what you think is going to be going down in Paris. Let me know what you thought about the Jamaican Championships and these finals in the 100-meter dash for both the men and the women. It's going to be exciting. Jamaica versus USA is turning up. Obviously, the spring season didn't matter. This is where track started. So let me know what y'all think. Always appreciate y'all. Thanks for watching.